morning 8th standard students. We are going to study understanding marginalization, and this is the second video of the week. So in this video we can see children, let us understand marginalization in the context of the Muslim community. So Muslim minorities we are going to discuss and we are going to see. So first of all, talking about the population and others, right? So in comparison to other communities, they have been deprived of the benefit of socio-economic development. So here we are talking about all the Muslim communities, okay, so average, right, not particular anyone. So it is said that they are deprived of the benefit of the socio-economic development. So according to 2011 census, Muslims are 14.2% of India's population and are considered a marginalized community in India. Means in India they are 14.2%, but they are considered as marginalized community. Means not they are in the group, okay, where all the power sharing or socio-economic benefits are there, or simply they are not prospering at that rate, so they are kept in the marginalized community. Okay. So example, differences in basic amenities. Basic amenities means the basic things which is needed to live. Example, the kacha house. 63.6% of Muslims live in kacha house. 55.2% of Hindus live in kacha house. Means I'm surprised to see the data, children, that you see 55% Hindus are also living in kacha house and 63% Muslim are also living in kacha house, right? And they are asking from us to compare that more Muslims are living in kacha house, right? But can we not think that both are living in kacha house? Kacha house means the hut type house. Electricity, you see 30% of Muslims have access to electricity and 43.2% of Hindus have access to electricity. Means 70% Muslim, they don't have access to electricity, and here if you say 67, how much it will come? 57, I think. Yes, 43, so 57% Hindus in India, they don't have access to electricity. Means I'm not saying that only the Muslims are backward, right? They are, but I can say that the whole country should progress together, and together only we can progress. You see, okay, that many peoples in the country, they don't have access to electricity, they don't have the proper house also, okay. So this lesson is not talking that we should try to compare that what others are having, what they are not having. No, this lesson is only having a data that particular minorities, they are little bit back, okay. You see, example, difference in basic amenities. Piped water. Pipe water means many part in the India, the fresh water is not coming from the ground. Salty water used to come out. Okay, example Delhi can be there. Okay, Yamuna river is there, so salty water used to come out. So there the government used to provide the fresh water, okay, through the pipeline. So 19.4% of Muslims have access to pipe water, 19.4%, and 25.3% of Hindus have access to pipe water. So when we see the data, 19.4%, roughly we can say 80% Muslim, they don't have access to the pipe water, and 75% nearly Hindus, they don't have access to the pipe water, okay. Example, literacy rate. If you talk about literacy rate, means how many people in that community, they are educated, they are having knowledge. So 65% is the literacy rate of our country. Hindus, you see, they are 65%. Muslim 59%. Christian, you see, they are less in number, but then also the literacy rate they are having maximum 80%. Okay. Sikh people, you see, 70%. Buddhist 73%. Jain people, they are very less in number, but their literacy rate is very high, 94%. Okay. So if I talk about Hindus, so they are having the highest percentage in the country. Okay. And they are 65%, they are having literacy rate. So can I say from this point that literacy is not having any relation with the population? Means if any population or community is more in number, so all of them will be educated? No. You will find out, children, that to get the education, okay, the one has to go through all the suffering. Maybe the parents have to go, or maybe the child has to go, right? So everyone wants to study, no doubt. No one wants a bad day for himself or herself. Everyone wants good life, but because they cannot afford it, so all are not studying. Many children, they start working at a very young age, which is not allowed. That is called child labor. But still around yourself you can see that the children are working, those who are not allowed to work, and simply you cannot do. This is reality. Okay. So I can say, children, we are having two worlds. One world we are having in the classroom when the books are open, and one world we are having outside when the book is in the bag and you are on the road. So this is only said that what we study, if 100% things are reflected in the society, then the society is heaven, the earth is heaven. Okay. And that is only called like imaginary society, which can never happen. So we have to talk about reality also, and we have to talk about the book and subject also, which is there. And who can make this society better? You peoples only, we peoples only, everyone. Okay. So one tips I want to give to all the children: if you don't do anything bad, means you are contributing something good for the society. Okay. Don't think that, sir, I am not doing anything good for the society. No, nothing bad you are doing for the society, means you are doing good for the society. Okay. So keep this in your mind, believe this. And one Sachar committee was there. Sachar committee, it was there to examine the social, economic and educational status of the Muslim community in India. So the Sachar committee report was saying that they are not having that much privilege or basic facilities, how much it is looking. Okay. So the Sachar committee report also debunked other prevalent myth about Muslim. Myth means white lie. It is commonly believed that the Muslims prefer to send their children to madrasas. Right? It is believed. However, only 4% of the Muslim children are in madrasa. How many? 4% Muslim children are in madrasas, whereas 66% attend government school and 30% attend private school. Okay. So 30% attend private school, 66% attend government school, and 4% go to madrasa. Okay. Muslim and marginalization. Economic and social marginalization experienced by Muslim has other dimensions as well. Like other minorities, Muslim custom and practice are sometimes quite distinct from what is seen as the mainstream. So means they follow different. We follow different method of prayer, right? But that is not the issue, because even you talk about the Jewish people, okay, at the time of Second World War, the Hitler was searching, okay, my mistake, the Hitler, no, only Hitler was searching Jewish people and he was killing them badly. So that time, so many Jewish people they came to India and they got shelter here. So India is a country who is giving the shelter even to the Jewish people, right? So never ever we can talk about that. Here the peoples are facing discrimination on the basis of religion. It can look somewhere, it can happen, but not totally, and never this will happen totally, right? So how they are different? Because they wear the burqa, they sports a long beard, they wear a fish. Fish means the long, okay, kameez, which is said to be, and this becomes ways to identify all Muslims. As a result, they tend to be identified differently and not like the rest of us. Okay. So it is not like this that every woman is having the burqa or every man is having the beard, those who are Muslim. Okay. So if you will talk with me, children, I will say only one thing, that how much I know about the two main religion of the world, like Hinduism and Islam. So Islam says that God is one, okay, and Hinduism says that in everything there is God, right? So this is only the difference in ideology, but you see both the ideologies are inspiring and looking very good. Okay, so thank you all children for having the class. Have a good day.